So 30% chance to flinch the target. You're telling me this has a 60% chance to flinch something?
Yes, now it does.
This has so with Serene Grace, this stupid brat of a Pokemon. excuse my French. This mother.
It's still going.
I loved everything about that. That captured what it is to build Pokemon, to talk Pokemon, and to get competitive. So this video is going to be targeted at a different audience than my normal Pokemon video. Most of my Pokemon videos are about the passionate, involved Pokemon fans just talking and loving everything about Pokemon, but this is taking a different spin on it because maybe there were people, actually, of course there were people that were like that at one point in their lives, but they just kind of fell out of Pokemon. So that's what I want to hear. I want to hear your story. I want to hear why you quit Pokemon, when you fell out of the game. Did you come back at any point, or was it just kind of you left and that was all there is to it? Because I've been encountering a lot of weird things happening in the Pokemon community, and this video is actually started by comments I've been finding on various videos throughout YouTube that I'm actively engaged in both my comment section. I read every comment in every video, or at least 95% of comments in every video, and then also I go out and comment on other YouTubers because I'm about community, about being social and friendly with everyone. And when you look at this, you know, this was actually on a Stefan Molyneux video, so we're going into a more intellectual, older, mature, politically focused audience right here, and the hate comments, there's very few of them. You know, it starts getting like more political than an attack on me for being who I am in the Pokemon community. But then you go into like another community. So this is Magic the Gathering on Rudy's video, and this is about Rudy investing money not in Magic but in Royal Caribbean. And I was like, yo, thanks for the investing lesson. I have a lot of money tied up in stocks right now, and it's cool to kind of learn how this stuff works. So very positive, very engaging, happy comment, and all of it is negative. So I'm seeing distinct differences that when you get into more toxic younger gaming audiences, it's going to be a comment that, you know, it's just going to be a lot more foul no matter where I go, Pokemon or outside the community or stuff like that. But then you can see that there's people, they got tired of that crap. They, instead of trying to save the Pokemon community, they left it, they grew up, and they kind of moved on. So look at this. You used to watch your videos a ton. Never thought you watched Stefan. Good luck with your channel, man. So Tim Holt, thank you very much for that comment because it really inspired and snowballed this video, because I can look at that and say, well, you used to watch your videos a ton. I'm guessing X and Y, you know, late X and Y, early Omega Green Alpha Sapphire, you eventually fell out of it, but then you still remember, hey, I used to play Pokemon. I loved engaging in Pokemon back in the day, and then still saying good luck with your channel, man. That's actually a really powerful comment for me, because it's not like you either love me until you hate me. People just, you know, love me until they grow out of Pokemon, and that's okay, and that's what this video is about. If you have a friend that hasn't played Pokemon in a couple years or kind of fell out of it, you share them this video. You try to get this out to everyone to try to bring them back into Pokemon, because that's another thing I want to know about is how they're going to be handling the Nintendo Switch. Is this going to be another surge like we saw with Pokemon X and Y, or are people just kind of out of it forever? So good seeing you here, and then responding to my comment. I had to do a literal double take when I saw your comment. Big ups to a PokeTuber who understands that there's more to this world than playing video games. And then that has a really interesting twist when we get into gaming communities, because it's going to be a younger audience, also not going to be as mature, so they can't really handle the discourse as well. That instead of being left versus right, you cannot deny that Pokemon gets political. Hacking versus non-hacking, Smogon versus not Smogon, all the little problems that go inside of it. But instead of actually being more mature about it, people are instead very toxic, and that's also where we see, you know, the younger generation kind of favoring this whole movement thing that's going on, like the March for Our Lives, more on the leftist side. It feels in Pokemon, kind of playing on their emotions instead of reality, being a lot more selfish and self-centered instead of actually understanding what would be best for the community and having to actually deal with things in their life. Oh, it's too hard to breed Pokemon, so I'm forced to hack, and then, you know, that's going to drive the more mature players out there that want to work for their things, because, like, well, why should I put any effort into this when all these little kids are destroying the community and we have all these spoiled brats just kind of making everything toxic? So that's what I mean, like, it shows that, yeah, it's like you wouldn't expect that in Pokemon, but I bring that to Pokemon, and that's what makes me so hated, because I'm here with the reality instead of trying to pander to all these children out there and then spoiling them further to kind of just promote idiocy. It's not a good thing. It's definitely not what we need inside of Pokemon right now. Now, one thing I wanted to mention in the video but didn't do while I was live was talk about how I feel the internet has been deeply regressing over the last couple of years. And I feel there's a lot more negativity, a lot more hate in general, and you just see this in the way that a lot of other YouTubers talk. I was listening to H3H3 podcast, and they're just saying, like, yeah, it's been really bad the last couple of years. I think that's just general sentiment from both commenters and YouTubers. They just kind of see that people have been getting worse. There was a time where it was going up, it was getting better, and then now all of a sudden people are just a lot more immature, mature, a lot more offensive about that. And I do attribute that to political movements, because it really feels like the left has been kind of supporting, hey, if you don't like something, you can cry it away, or you can make as big of an outrage and about it, and that's the proper way for discourse. And that's kind of spoiling the younger audiences and then leading to a much more toxic comment section. And even personally, I feel like the percentage, not just overall volume, because naturally as I grow, I'm going to get more hate, but I feel that the percentage of like negative comments has really been spiraling out of control as people feel more and more justification in negativity and hatred. And I mean, even like silly stuff, like I feel that when I first started making my YouTube channel, that furry hate was kind of on a decline, that people were growing up, they were more mature about it, but then all of a sudden recently, you know, just whatever toxicity has been really like compounding in the internet, people are just a lot more aggressive towards anything they find is weird, so there's a lot less acceptance, a lot more aggression. That's why I'm seeing like more comments about my color than I was when my channel was newer, even when I was having like massive amounts of growth, because kids these days are just more spoiled and immature, and it's leading to some really bad stuff that eventually gets covered in this video. So that's why I feel that there's a lot of other things that we can compare to, and one reason, or not reason, but one thing I can use to help support my video is another thing is like a lot of people, they're happy in their toxicity. I've already proven this with the VGC videos, that recently I did a lot of videos just kind of like showing all the problems in VGC right now, because we're getting like 100 people going to a regionals when it used to be hundreds of people. You know, we're pretty much at a point where the Pokemon community is slashed by 75%. We have 1/4 of the active Pokemon community than we've seen at the highs, or at least the engagement is a lot lower in this year and recent years than we have seen in the past. Games should be growing, not going down. So naturally, the people that are toxic, that have created this poisonous bubble of hatred and emotions for themselves, they're happy. They created the community that they wanted, but they drove out 90, or not 90, but you know, 75% of the audience that should actually be engaging. Also, sorry about my green screen. My lighting is just not wanting to cooperate a little today, so I hope that doesn't bother you too much. I might try to stand over here and hopefully that doesn't make it as bad. So that's another thing, like the vocal minority, they get more vocal and powerful when they're threatened. And that's another thing that kind of like snowballs in this video. Because later I'm going to discuss like what happened with Justin Flynn, because we used to do videos all the time and this grew both of our channels, but I was seen as a threat by a lot of the Pokemon community because I was anti-hacking, anti-Smogon, and with that comes a lot of threat to the things that are poisoning the community. So, you know, on the mature stance, you're not going to fight as much. We see this on the left, that they were outraged when Trump won, and they were like, oh, if Trump loses, there's going to be riots in the street. Trump wins, and then the left goes out and starts rioting and stuff like that. So with Antifa, this gets into its own political thing, and then if you see me talking about Stefan Molyneux video, you can obviously understand how I feel about the political left and right stuff. So that might give you an idea of my beliefs right there. But I'm taking that into Pokemon as well. That, you know, we have the outrage that's just going to eventually overwhelm, because people are just tired of putting up with that crap, and depending on what it's worth fighting for, it's just Pokemon. Sure, when it comes to our country and when it comes to our economy and stuff like that, yeah, it's a little more important for fighting for when there's a lot of stupidity going around. But in Pokemon, people are like, it's just a game. They give up, they go to Overwatch. Overwatch started blowing up. We have, oh, I just scrolled that down. We have PUBG, we have Fortnite now taking over the world on Fortnite. So instead of Pokemon being the trend that takes over the world, being the next thing, even though Niantic is a little at fault for Pokemon Go, we have people just kind of giving up on trying to make the community better. And that's why I started like, yo guys, no, come back. This is what's about, and this is why I'm making this video, because I want to know why you guys left. And I know there's a lot of people, this is why I'm doing Justin Flynn later on this video, that came to me from Justin Flynn that were in that early X and Y. I felt that the community was a lot more stronger, a lot more powerful when we had Pokemon X and Y instead of actually Pokemon Sun and Moon. X and Y sold less copies. Pokemon Sun and Moon, like 20% larger on launch, maybe even 30% larger. So much larger game, much more expansive game, but didn't hold players, and the community was already broken from Generation 6. So that's why I want to feel like why people left and stuff like that. So let's go and bring out the stats. This is like the hard facts that you can't deny. So if you're one of those people that's just like, no, the Pokemon community is completely fine right now, you're the problem, Verlisify. There's no problems going on. You're actually contributing to toxicity by ignoring the facts right now, much like we also see when it comes to politics. So yeah, my peak was 17 million monthly views, right now down to about a quarter of that. So that's kind of showing on the viewership, but it's not just me. I'm not here to be like, oh, look at my dying channel. See, it's not my dying channel that's the problem. It's the Pokemon that's the problem, because my views are going down. So it must be Pokemon, not me. However, we can back this up on pretty much every PokeTuber. We have Unlisted Leaf down to 6.5 million views. Everyone is at like 3 to 4 year lows when it comes to views, and that's not because their channel's dying. It does have a little bit to do with like YouTube sub boxes and algorithm screwiness and stuff like that. There's a lot of elements that kind of keep piling in, but at the same time, Unlisted Leaf, he peaked multiple months of 30 million. So actually, Unlisted Leaf is more than a fifth down from his all-time high. Now, Pokemon GO, he did cover that a lot harder and was like the top Pokemon channel, so naturally he's going to have a harder fall, but shows Pokemon couldn't keep up. He had a slide, and now it's pretty bad. And we also have Hoodlum Scrafty, a dying channel that really shows the decline going on in Pokemon right now. So actually showing some good strengths, you know, going into the attack video that he made on me, but then also into Pokemon Sun and Moon. So showing about 3 million views, but now a fifth. So down a fifth. We're seeing a fourth, a fifth, all these falling numbers, and then it also kind of shows strength. That I'm only down a fourth when other people are down even more. And even then, going back a couple of years, like, this is the dead period. We have April 15th. There was nothing going on in Pokemon. This was our game, or this was our year without a game after Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and still doing twice as good as we are doing right now. And even like then, when we had like the Pokemon news announcement, that got a lot of hype in the community. That actually, we can see that on my viewership as well. You know, it's like Sun and Moon announcement, and then whoop. It was a pretty good time, so I'm hoping for that from Nintendo Switch naturally. Then we even have Shofu, another channel that's been struggling, showing, you know, 10 million views on the month that X and Y launched, showing also a couple other million. Look at that, 3.3 or 3.4 in the dead times, kind of having some lows and highs, pulling it back up for Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then just a fifth of the highs. Actually closer to almost an eighth of his highs if we're counting like X and Y and stuff. So Shofu also showing this decline. It shows that everything is in decline when it comes to Pokemon, and that's not a good thing. Further shown by the Pokemon Global Link. So for the first time, except for one other time in over a year, we actually failed a global mission, and we failed the first past global mission that we ever had. So this is kind of showing the insanity that happened with Pokemon Sun and Moon launch, but trade Pokemon to GTS. 1 million goal, 4.1 million success, smashed it 4 times. Also showing, you know, 16 million Pokemon caught, 660,000 through the island scan. I think that just that the global link didn't work. You know, a lot of people were able to sign up. It wasn't as promoted as it should have been. So kind of showing a failure right there. But then we get into Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. We just had the same exact mission. 771,000 on trade Pokemon on the GTS. So once again, showing less than a fifth of the turnout for the other global missions that happened. And then even going back to this, we have 5.4 million Pokemon caught on the launch week of Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. It's actually having a head start over this. If this was already November, you know, we had time after the game had already come out, and then only getting 16 million. So still count as a failure, but having 3 times more and even though that this had like a head start, this had a better chance of success, because a lot of people, they're going to catch a majority of the Pokemon during the storyline. They want to experience all these new generation Pokemon, but because of that, you know, this actually had a better chance and failed even harder. So just kind of showing, yeah, we're about 75%, 80% down even. I would say like 1/5, kind of showing that really realistically. And then that's why I was like really interested in this video, because I feel like most of the people quit Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Even though we got a larger jump Pokemon Sun and Moon, seems like that was Pokemon GO based. You know, just a lot of the hype around it. And also, I think like it's just mob mentality. The internet is incredibly trendy. Social media is overwhelmingly powerful when it comes to determining what people watch. Like YouTube uses its algorithm, and they'll follow Twitter trends. If it's trending on Twitter, if it's trending on Facebook, that topic is more likely to trend on YouTube. So with Pokemon GO taking over the world, taking over every aspect of social media, YouTube's going to promote it. We don't have anything going on Pokemon right now, so YouTube is refusing to promote it, and that's killing the community. People want to be hip, they want to be on the trends, and if Pokemon's dead, well, they don't feel cool playing a dead thing that not even Google algorithms are promoting, anything like that. So that's why I feel when it came to, like, it got overly pumped, made it look like it was going to be massive, and then it fell apart because the community had already quit by that point with the 6th generation, that it was just inflated, and then it just left toxicity, hacking, and all these problems that we see right now in its wake. So going back to Pokemon X and Y, it was a massive jump. We had over 10 million copies sold for a Pokemon game, and it was on a new console, so that was hype. That was some of the biggest we've seen, even though the YouTube community was barely growing at that point. I would talk to people on the street and be like, you know, you can watch YouTube videos about how to play Pokemon. It's like, I didn't know that there were Pokemon videos on YouTube. Like, this happened for the first couple years. Like, X, Y, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, people were like, I didn't think about watching Pokemon YouTube videos, because that's 5 years ago. So okay, 4-ish, because like then you know, timelines and stuff. But yeah, it's like 3-4 years ago, people weren't as big on Pokemon. They were still into Minecraft and other games because the Pokemon scene hadn't developed. So X and Y gave the foundation for Pokemon Sun and Moon to become more standard, but I think we saw the bigger jump in X and Y and stuff like that. So Justin Flynn made strategy guides, and I think that this showed the ultimate sense of community. We were having a great time together, doing what we loved, and then bringing everyone into Pokemon. That, for my first couple years on YouTube, even still today, like, I'll run to people on the street, at events, at conventions, at PAX, tournaments, stuff like that, and they're just like, yo, actually, that was one of the comments from the Stefan Molyneux videos, like, oh yeah, Justin Flynn, I found him, or I found you through him and stuff like that. So people still bring up Justin Flynn because that's what they're tied to emotionally, because that showed the biggest sense of community. That showed that there was a lot of great things happening in Pokemon, and it was a really good introductory way. You have two friends talking about how to build Pokemon to crush other people. That is the spirit of the community of Pokemon. When you and your friends get together and you either want to beat each other up or you want to beat up the other group at the local Pokemon hosting that you do at like the Village Inn. That's where we went to, but also you can go to Denny's, get some pie, get some breakfast food. Hell, they serve it all day long. Like, you get to have fun and play Pokemon the entire time. IHOP. So, like, that's what I think. There was a lot more events. There was a lot more people going out and playing Pokemon together in person than there was for even Pokemon Sun and Moon. People wanted to learn about the game. People wanted to just discover a new passion for the game. But then it was a gold rush. We have all these clickbaiters coming in, all these scumbags that turned it into something for the money. That's going to drive the older audience away because they don't like watching their community fall apart, so they just end up falling out of it. I think that really describes what has happened to Pokemon, and that instead of more people trying to support the community like me, everyone just went, I'm gonna be fake to these kids, like what we saw with Minecraft. I'm gonna make so much money. That's gonna be amazing. Even though that I always held like the top 3 slot for PokeTubers with my honest and true way of handling it, just no one else came on board. Instead, they saw me as a threat. Wait a second, this guy's exposing me. Wait a second, this guy's against hacking and he's gaining a lot of ground. Smogon, very threatened. Everyone, all the other PokeTubers are very threatened by me because of what I say and my incredible performance. You cannot deny my stats when I take the least hit in this downtime for Pokemon while also still showing some of the highest views. Like, I'm less than 50% down on Unlisted Leaf, who has, what, 4 times my subscribers right now? Yeah, 4 times my subscribers, insane amounts of stats. So it's just kind of showing that my channel has always been strong, always been healthy, and I've always provided threats. So how do you stop that? You take me down. You shut me down. You do everything to get that out of the way, because that's going to threaten your views, your money, and stuff like that. So the greed, overwhelming, and then destroying the community through just further destruction like that. And we just didn't see it come back. We never saw the community come back. People refused to work with each other outside of their own little groups. Like, we had the Nappy Nation, you know, King Nappy and his little guys, but that there wasn't collaboration. It's like, okay, cool, that niche right there, that clique right there is effectively just going to be an entity. It's one person for that entire group over there. So that's the thing. It just kind of like broke down to where there wasn't any cross-pollination. There wasn't any cross-collaboration. Everyone wanted to stay in their own little greedy holes, and that's why the community eventually fell apart. I mean, we had some great videos and some incredible synergy. Like, this is one of my favorite moments ever, and honestly, I should have put it in like a recent video, like my top 10 favorite Verlisify videos. I should have put this in as it, because I was a part of the video. It's so if it's Justin Flynn's video, but this was amazing.
All right, so 30% chance to flinch the target. You're telling me this has a 60% chance to flinch something?
Yes, now it does.
This has a so with Serene Grace, this stupid brat of a Pokemon. excuse my French. This mother.
It's still going.
I loved everything about that. That captured what it is to build Pokemon, to talk Pokemon, and to get competitive. But then when we saw that transition into Pokemon X and Y, I also feel that when I did my How to Save Pokemon video, I was talking to my friends to try to get intel on the average Pokemon. Intel. That sounds a little more dirty than it needed to, or a little more intense. But yeah, I was talking to my friends like, why did you quit? Because Sean didn't. I think he might have finished X and Y, but he never even bought Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Jesse didn't finish Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Sean didn't even pick up Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. He just kind of fell out of Pokemon entirely, despite being the biggest Pokemon fan I knew growing up through high school. So he just completely fell out right there. Jesse, he's just kind of like lurking on 4chan and stuff, keeping an interest in Pokemon because he does enjoy it, but really wasn't able to kind of feel it. He never finished Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. finished Pokemon Sun and Moon, wasn't happy with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, so it's kind of like the game's dropping people out, the community dropping people out, so it just kind of shows what happened. People got bored with the games, they got tired of the hacking, because that's why I'm with me. I was playing more in Omega Green Alpha Sapphire. I was doing more battles with the year that we didn't have the game that I did for like the entirety of Pokemon Sun and Moon, Ultra Moon, because I was having fun. I was loving a lot of the new Pokemon, like Toxapex. That's my guy right there. That's awesome. But then there was a lot of nerfs. There was a lot of nerfs that targeted my playstyle, so it made it a little less fun right there. However, they did target some other Pokemon that were threatening to me. I just feel that the competitive balance of Sun and Moon made it a lot less fun, but then the incredible, overwhelming amounts of hacking. If you deny hacking as a problem in Pokemon, you are the problem in Pokemon. That is just the fact and the way it is, because that's why people leave. You know, you have the honest Pokemon player, they don't want to cheat, because here's a hint, here's a secret, guys. Some people, they love Pokemon. It's hard to believe that people love Pokemon, but that's what happens. When you love Pokemon, you don't want to ruin your childhood. You don't want to ruin your game through cheating, through just this disgusting feeling of breaking the game. Not what Pokemon intended, not what the developers intended, to cheat against other children. Some people don't do that, and they'd rather leave. It's like, well, my friends quit for other various reasons. You know, they didn't like the games. They just fell out of Pokemon naturally. So I don't have any of my friends that aren't going to hack to battle with. They might have quit just because of the same things for hack. It's like, well, now I don't have anyone to turn to Pokemon with, so they leave. I think that's why it gets more and more toxic, that the good people always leave first. And then, you know, it's the hardcore, ultimate, unmoving rock fans that will try to weather it out. But then, for the most part, you know, that's why it's so condensed right now. That's why it feels like a much more hateful community. Vocal minority, smaller group of people making the loudest noise when 75% of the people left. Sure, a lot of bad people left in that as well, but a majority of the good players are gone in Pokemon. A majority of the honest people that put our community where it is right now, they're gone. That's what this video is for. I hope that they can come back. That's why I want to also know about the Nintendo Switch. Do you have plans to come back? Do you have plans for making it like the new X and Y? Nintendo Switch, very active, very community-focused console. I feel that 7th generation with the Festival Plaza absolutely killed a lot of the community, just in the game features itself. So everyone's to blame. The hackers, the toxic people, just the people that left as well. Not trying to be too hateful, but you know, we gotta put it all there. And then even the game developers. So we really need to see everything line up perfectly for Pokemon. It seemed like that was what happened in Pokemon Sun and Moon. It seemed like we had the perfect combination of old people coming back from Pokemon GO, Pokemon Sun and Moon getting ultimate promotion, being the largest Pokemon game ever, but then the game didn't deliver, the hacking exploded, and then the Pokemon company refused to just kind of punish players and enforce their own game. So because of that, we saw a complete breakdown. That's why we need to get everyone back in together. I really hope I see some of you guys that were loving me through X and Y, haven't had any time, you know, or just haven't played in those last couple years, but you find the time, you make it happen. You put down Fortnite, and you come back into Pokemon for like 6 glorious months of just the ultimate, most hardcore playing ever. And I think that that's something that we can really pull out in Pokemon. I think that the community is still there. I think that, you know, 90% of the Pokemon community right now is people that want to play Pokemon, but there's that one critical piece that's missing from it. I really hope the Nintendo Switch delivers, and that restores and rebuilds the community, and then people just need to work together. People need to have a lot of fun playing Pokemon. I don't know if it's going to happen. I can really hope, but I think we have a good chance. No hacking on the Switch will be a very big deal. Like, I just want no hacking on the Switch, just so I can prove that hacking was a problem for the 7th generation, and then everyone should have a great time, and that's kind of it. So, very long video. I did not expect it to go this long. I was honestly expecting, like, boom, pull up the stats, talk about how there's a quarter people, a little bit on Justin Flynn, because this showed how YouTube and Pokemon was supposed to be, blowing up together, but then, you know, people would just start, like, threatening Justin Flynn, like, hey, you can't work with that Verlisify guy, then driving us away from each other, take down that power couple, and then the community just got worse from there. So, we can't let the toxicity beat us this time. And I think we all need to support what's true in Pokemon, the honest, hardcore fans that have the most passion, and then that should kind of bring us into a new wave. Unfortunately, it still is a gold rush. Pokemon Sun and Moon is massive. We can see from all the clickbaiting and massive, just the lies and the fakes and all the stuff in the news, that there's going to be a lot of bad people in Pokemon, and that's going to be a pretty big fight right there. But I think if we can get a couple of big people on top, holding for what's true, not putting aside the money, and then playing Pokemon for the spirit of Pokemon, that is how we win. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. Holy crap, this video was long.